Hiya, welcome to part 2, composing our Monster Mayhem cue. And what we have done in part 1 is put a load of instruments, compose this 20 seconds of quite intense music, which is probably going to become the end. Remember, if this is your sort of thing, like and subscribe, always appreciated. And there's a playlist somewhere over there with loads more compositions on. So there's 3 things I'm going to be thinking about when I'm going through today's session. The first one is obviously structure, because we want a 1:30 to 2-minute cue. And that's the main objective, is to structure this piece. But at the same time, I'm also going to be looking at EQ. That might involve adding an insert reverb onto a particular channel. But I'm not going to worry about the main reverb, because that's what we do in the mastering and stem stage, which we'll do in part 3. But we're trying to sculpt the sound as we go along. I know there's going to be quite a bit of that going on, because already there's a lot of low end energy. So some of these sounds are going to have their EQs modified so they don't step on top of each other. And finally, we'll probably look at automating. The most obvious one is volume, to bring things in and out as we go along. So there you go. We've got structure, EQ, getting the sound right, and also automation. I'm going to have a go at laying this out so that this section is at the end, and possibly come up with some sort of introduction to start with, so that we've got a general idea of how long our 1:30 to 2-minute cue is going to look. Okay, see you when I've done that. Okay, I thought I'd just pause there for a second just to show you the way that I'm working here. What I did was copied the first section out to just past 1:30, so I've got that nice and safe. What I've then done is gone through and soloed one at a time the individual sounds that I thought would sound good just for the introduction. Now this is good, because what I can now do is delete the tracks that I wasn't using. And when I come out of solo mode, I'm back to a cut down version of this end section, but I've still got all these sounds in the patterns that we programmed them in, so that I can then start working on the next section. I'll just show you the first intro that we've got so far. And what you'll notice is I've taken out those big junkyard hits that were doing that walking sound from part 1, and also in the toms I've slightly edited how often they play, so I've taken out every 4th note. So there we go, there's a bit of an introduction. I wonder where it's going next. Right, I thought I'd pause again here because I had a bit of a composing dilemma. When I was creating this second section after the intro, which is basically the same but adding more instruments, I wanted to introduce the strings, and these murmurations from Crow Hill sound like this, and it's a bit artificial on their own. So what I did was use BBCSO, so all the strings, violin 1, 2, viola, cello and bass. Sometimes it can be tempting not to bother splitting out all the strings, and you don't necessarily need to do that every time when a combination patch works absolutely fine, but these are actually quite noticeable in the mix where I have them. The murmuration blurs at the end weren't so obvious because they were hidden amongst so many other things. So this is the violin section and cello and bass that we've got now. So you can hear there's inspiration from the murmuration blurs, and I've just changed it to what I want it to actually sound like. So there's another little tip, and you can see there's some other variations I was trying. I'm probably going to get rid of those, and I think the murmuration blurs is going to go completely. There we go. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so I've been playing around with the toms to try and get that triplet build feel. And one thing I like to do with this is when you've played them in, and you could choose to quantize them if you like, but another way to check that I quite like is going to the score. And if you can see it's put triplets over the notes that you were expecting it to, then that's a pretty good indication that you've got things sounding pretty cool. We're up to about 45 seconds now, so I need something to bring it down, and I'm conscious that I haven't used the mosaic bass yet. So that's going to be probably the key element we introduce that comes in to then finish off the piece. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I think we're there. So we've done 3 main things. I've gone through and structured it. Something I didn't mention is this second repeat here has actually gone up to C minor. So we've gone up a minor third from A minor. That's what gives it the build that you will hear in a moment when I play it all through for you. The breakdown is literally stripping out an awful lot of stuff as we go along, but I think it works really well. You'll have to tell me in the comments how you think the breakdown works. And at the end, all I've done is I just took all of one section and made it really short, so we've got this effect as an ending. That's quite nice to work with. There might be some transitions, but we've got the structure in place. As I was going along, I was also EQing different instruments. Most of the percussion I have left alone at the moment, but we may look at that in part 3. And don't be fooled by thinking loads of things have come in at the same time at the end, because as well as structure and EQ, we've also done quite a lot of automation. So things fade in and out as we go along. So, like I say, I'll play it as a bit of an outro so you can hear what you think. Like and subscribe, always appreciated as always. And I'll see you for part 3 when we master it down to stems. See you in a bit.